Hey, it's Mike from Brew. This week we're going to talk about fittings for your Shiron plate chiller. Let's do it. Okay, so first of all, I've used the Shiron plate chiller in 2 brew sessions, and I love it. I love it so far. The first one I kind of went through it a little faster than I should have, so my wort ended up being about 85 degrees in the fermenter, 82 degrees in the fermenter. Not as cool as I want it to be, but that's fine because I usually chill it down overnight sometimes. I've had good luck with that. But the last time I used it, I actually took the cooled wort coming out, and reintroduced it to the top of the kettle in a recirc mode. And within 10 minutes, 12 minutes, I was down to 70 degrees. And as I ran off into the fermenter, I got a fermenter full of about 65 degree wort. So that was fantastic. Of course, a big part of that is still related to groundwater temperature being pretty cool. But now here in New England, it's definitely starting to heat up. So the luxury of really cold groundwater is slipping away from us. But I just wanted to zoom in on this particularly. I mentioned it my last video. You saw it in action, but I wanted to actually go over the fittings because my original plan was to put quick connects on here to make it easy to pull it in and out of service, if you will, and hook it up to the pump, remove it from the pump. But when I started trying to put fittings on this thing, I realized that I didn't have the fittings that I wanted, and then it was going to cost me some money. More money than I wanted. I already invested in the chiller and I invested in some other stuff, and I've been just putting too much time and money into equipment and not enough time and money into brewing beer, although that is slowly changing. You can see behind me here. So just want to go over it really quick. So if you buy one of these, you can see how I did it and you can make a decision yourself. So first off, my brewing setup, I don't use disconnects on my brewing setup. I've gotten used to just using a screwdriver and pipe clamps because I'm not moving tubing around a whole lot. With the exception of coming from the mash tun to the brew kettle after the mash is done. That's really the major one big move. Now that I've got the chiller involved, there's a couple more tubings that I have to attach, but I figured for now, just to save money, I wouldn't worry too much about quick connects. In fact, one of the main problems I had is that I have several of these type of disconnects right here, a female and a male. I got these from More Beer. These are 1/2 inch male pipe threads. The first problem I encountered with trying to use these was that the fitting here is also 1/2 inch male pipe thread, and the fitting on this end is 1/2 inch male pipe thread. So for both the wort in and the wort out side, I would have to get a coupler on here first in order to be able to mate up the male to the male end. I'd have to have the female coupler on both sides. It's called a coupler for fitting. So that would have been 2 couplers to buy for that, which was, I have a couple stainless steel ones, but I want to save those for welding into my kettles. That's, again, more equipment stuff. I don't want to get into that right now, but it's coming eventually. So I had these 1/2 inch brass barbed ones that went on. I think this is a 1/2 inch barb and then a 1/2 inch male pipe thread. I had 2 of these, so boom, you can see it there, little pipe tape. I put those on there, and I was all set. I had pipe clamps. I had plenty of high temp silicone tubing. So that worked out just fine for the wort going through it. So the other 2 fittings on your Shiron plate chiller is one, I think this is 3/4 inch like garden pipe thread, and there's one on both sides. So the other interesting problem that I ran into that I had to solve was, if you think about it for a minute, your house hose, when you attach a hose to your house, your garden hose has an end like this on it, right? So that's a female end because the stopcock on your house is a male threaded 3/4 inch. You put this end on here, and at the other end of the hose you have a male end. Well, the problem is both of these fittings here, the garden threadings on both sides, those are male ends. So then I had to go and look around for a 3/4 inch garden pipe threaded coupler in order to go from the garden hose to this, and it was just driving me crazy. I made a couple of quick stops at the big hardware stores and I couldn't find what I wanted right away. So luckily for me, and this is what I recommend people try and do, I had this extra piece of hose which is only about 3 feet long. What I did is, this is just a junky piece of hose, I put another female garden pipe threaded brass fitting on here. It's on super tight. These are the type of things you use to repair a hose. So my hose now has 2 female ends on both sides. So this side can receive my long garden hose coming from the house carrying water to the chiller, while this end, I use this end to attach to here to go on like this. So I just screw that on here, and that's for my water in. And what I have been doing, because I like to collect my hot water coming out of the chiller, I got one of these 1/2 inch hose barbs, female fitting in here. I think this I don't know if this is necessarily garden repair, but garden hose repair. But this fits on here, and I put silicone tubing in here, and I just run 4 feet of that out of here right into buckets. So that's my water outside. Let's see if I can show it to you. So yeah, that's the water out part right there. So that's where the hot water is coming out post chilling, and I collect that in buckets. I usually put a little PBW in one bucket with the super hot water coming out, and I stir that as it fills up, and then I transfer it once that gets filled to another bucket that's just hot water. And that's how I've been cleaning my pump for the last year and a half that I've been using a pump. And now I just do the same thing. I don't change any of the tubing around. When I'm done brewing, I pull the inlet off of the brew kettle and I put that into the PBW, and then I start the pump again, and I wait for the beer to completely run through the whole system, through the pump, through the tubing, through the chiller, back out the tubing, and I just let that water blow out to waste. And then once it's clear, running clear, no more wort, it goes into the same bucket. So I'm recirculating hot PBW through the pump, through the chiller. Then it's a simple matter of, after I do that for a little bit, taking the 2 hoses that I've got attached here and here for wort, and I just reverse them. So I back flush the other way with hot PBW, and then I rinse with the other bucket of hot water, and it's a piece of cake done like that. So I guess in summary, there are some challenges in putting fittings on this thing so it can work with your system, and you're going to have to adapt it to your system. This is just one way how I did it. So I just have, again, 2 hose barbed 1/2 inch national pipe thread for the wort. I have 1 3/4 inch pipe, a threaded female fitting to a hose barb for the water out. And then look around in your neighborhood, wait till you find someone throwing a hose out, or so you can get your own piece and then put an extra female fitting on here and use this hose as like an adapter hose to go from your garden hose on the side of your house to your chiller. So that was the biggest challenge, but I'm glad I got it working. I don't have any leaks. It works like a charm. I can't wait to brew again. Hopefully we'll brew it soon. It's time to get some summer beers going, a little more like a Belgian wit, maybe another big batch of cream ale. But I gotta wait till the yeast is done from these experiments, because I'm gonna do some repitching there, and that'll be a future video. So thanks for watching. Remember, check us out. Check our other videos out on YouTube. Check out our website at brew-juice.com. Check out our Twitter feed. That's where you would have seen that experiment happen. So keep on brewing, keep on watching, subscribe, like this video. Thank you very much for everybody who stays with us week after week. We love to hear from you. Cheers and brew on.